Welcome to the Rube Report, a weekly in-depth look at Astoria High School sports with Athletic Director Howard Rube. The Rube Report is brought to you by Northwest Lending Group. It's time to hit the ground running. Here's your host, Coach Howard Rube.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Rube Report. This is Howard Rube, Athletic Director and Head Football Coach of your Astoria High Fighting Fishermen. Very excited to be with you on this Thursday afternoon. I will be joined by Mr. Dane Gouge, owner-operator of Astoria Ford and voice of the Fishermen, as well as the producer of our show, Sean O'Connor. We have a great show lined up, so please stay with us. Welcome back to the Rube Report. We would like to remind everyone to please support the Northwest Lending Group. The Northwest Lending Group has been helping Clatsop County residents achieve their dream of home ownership since 1992. Greg has a full range of mortgage products. Please give him a call in Astoria for a no-pressure talk about your home financing needs. Greg can be reached at 503-325-4116. Again, that's 503-325-4116. And our other participating sponsor is Joe's Mobile.
Fuel and snacks and people you know. Joe's Mobile is a place to go.
And I'm sure Joe appreciates the...
Joe's Mobile.
I'm sure he appreciates it.
Absolutely. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It's fun.
Have you seen all that stuff on the Facebook and YouTube about this United flight?
Yes.
They're throwing people out of the planes.
Oh, my gosh. That was really disturbing.
I caught it on the news. It's kind of funny that you would ask if I saw something on Facebook, but I think you know the answer to that.
Well, there's other things, YouTube and stuff like that. There's all kinds of comedy coming
all over social media, yeah.
The CEO of that company blamed the customer. I'm like...
He finally apologized, like, today, but,
so it's the customer's fault. He wouldn't get off the plane when we told him to get off. He was being belligerent. Well, if I paid $400 for a ticket, I'd want to...
It's hard enough
to
get on a plane, pay the ticket, go through security, and then you treat it like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened?
I don't know the details. I caught a little clip of it on the news.
It's real simple. They overbooked the flight, and they had to get 4 pilots on the plane. So they offered everybody the moon, the sky, and everything. You get, another ticket in the next flight, a hotel room, plus a voucher for all this stuff. And no one would get off. So they just randomly started picking guys and kicking them off the plane. 4. So they picked the first one they picked. He wasn't going. I'm not getting off the plane. You got my bag. You got my stuff. I'm not getting off the plane. So they physically removed him from the plane.
Dragged him,
bloody and everything.
Down the aisle. Off the plane because he would not leave.
Because they had to get these pilots down there. So it would have been cheaper for them to get a private jet for the pilots than this lawsuit was going to be on their hands.
They should know better, too. Someone's going to be on their phone.
United Airlines.
Recording all that.
Oh, that's awesome.
They threw me off the plane, but now it's my plane. It's okay. You see everything from the old airplane movie, remember that?
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen.
Where everybody's beating that.
Slapping the passenger over and over.
Guys with guns and baseball bats coming.
Yeah.
It just never stopped.
I saw that posted as the United training video.
Yeah. So get your day. I'm glad everybody gets it. That doesn't have anything to do with sports, but it could be.
Teams travel.
Their teams travel.
It's been a while, but we've actually had teams travel by plane.
Yeah, and they might just kick your star quarterback off, and Rube would be drug off.
Yeah.
They're beating him. The other coach is out there.
He'd be considered VIP. They wouldn't go after Rube first.
Yeah, that's Sean McNabb would be laughing over there in the corner. Head coach of Scappoose.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, somebody's probably going to lose their job over that, I would think.
Not when the CEO comes on.
There's going to be charges filed, I guarantee you.
The CEO was backing him?
Yeah, he said that this guy was belligerent, and
he was belligerent because he said, no, I'm not getting off the plane.
Pretty much so.
Wow.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that can't be good for business.
No. We better get to some sports. We're going to run out of time.
Our high school baseball team is off to a great start. Really great start. We're up to number number 4 ranking in the OSA ranking system.
8 straight wins, right, Coach?
Yeah, we had that opening day loss, and we've been streaking ever since.
That's
And,
awesome.
Yeah, senior Jackson Arnsdorf has been pitching lights out,
That's
and
awesome.
Fridtjof Fremstad has been closing the door in the late innings, and we're also getting some solid pitching from Olaf England and Trey Hageman in between. Unfortunately, our lefty, senior Tyler Linkstad, has a torn ligament in his knee, and we're not sure if and when we'll get him back on the field, so that's been really frustrating for him, but a lot of guys have stepped up. We got a young player, sophomore Burke Matthews, has been off to a real solid start. Burke's playing a lot of first base with Tyler out when Jackson's pitching, and I don't think they're putting a lot of pressure on him. He's batting at the bottom of the lineup, but he's really hitting the ball well. I think he's in the top 3 right now in RBIs, runs scored, and batting average, so we're excited for one of our sophomores to be stepping up and making the most of his opportunity.
That's awesome.
Has been really good. So, we have a lot of good energy. Everything seems to be real positive. Kids seem to be having a good time enjoying ball. And, the only negative we could say has really been the weather. It's been really hard. We feel bad that we haven't played any games at Tapiola Park yet. All the games have been relegated to CMH Field, which is probably not as fan-friendly for our spectators or as scenic for a baseball game, but it's playable and working, and we feel fortunate that we have the turf to be able to play the games. So it's been good. The group that kind of has been getting on the short end of the stick is obviously our JV team. They would normally play their games at CMH Field, but when Tapiola Park's not available, the varsity has to move over there, and it has kind of it's basically bumped the JV team from being able to play some games, which is unfortunate. And we hope that the weather will get a little bit better, and we'll be able to get the JV team some more games here.
The Dane Gouge Doppler is calling for sunny weather all through May.
That's excellent. How reliable is it?
I don't know. We're going to find out.
Well, yeah, I hope the Dane Gouge Doppler is correct. That would be good. And our softball team got off to a good league start this week. On Tuesday, we had a nice 10-run win, a 5-inning game against Tillamook. So,
good.
Cool.
It was good. Yeah, we've had some tough non-league games of late, so really good to get off to a good start with our league season and hopefully be competitive in league. The top 2 teams in our league, in the Quapple League, Banks and Scappoose, will be pretty hard to deal with, but we feel like we should hopefully be pretty competitive with Valley Catholic and Seaside and Tillamook the rest of the way. And again, certainly hope to be competitive with Scappoose and Banks. Historically, we have been. In the single game format, our lack of depth hurts us in the doubleheader format. Yeah. So you get to game 2 of those doubleheaders with some programs that are loaded with just sheer numbers. The fact that we haven't been able to play a junior varsity season in softball the last couple of years has certainly hurt us, and it pays its toll in this doubleheader schedule. But it'd be great if we could find a way to sneak into the top 3 and find a way to get Scappoose or Banks at least once before the season's out, and I know that's what we're going to keep working towards.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how the numbers have dwindled, especially in the youth for softball.
Well, unfortunately,
it fluctuates, but it's been a down couple years.
Just in general, across the board, participation in sport is down in all things. And it's not just here in Oregon or in Clatsop County, but just even nationwide. There are all kinds of different reasons for it. One thing that I know for sure is that sport is hard.
Yeah.
and in our society, hard is not necessarily what we're
I don't
looking
want to.
Yeah, exactly.
It's challenging.
That play that football hurts. I don't like doing that.
We have to practice a lot.
We have huge track numbers, at the middle school, they had like 157, Astoria Middle School, 157 kids go out for track, I think was the number.
Well, but even that brings up a good example. So you have 150 show up the first day, and then you have the first 2 days of conditioning, and now we're already down to 100.
Well, they got to start at 157. They dropped to 57.
They dropped to. Well, they didn't.
I didn't know I was going to have to work.
We literally
Surprise.
dropped about 50 kids after 2 days.
Wow.
Because which is I think is not necessarily
They
a bad
thought it was
thing
just
either.
like school. Oops. You can do that test over. It's okay.
Well, I think there's a good thing in that what we're doing and offering through school for kids at a young age in our co-curricular programs should be allowing kids an opportunity to try new things. And you might not necessarily find that this is your cup of tea. So we don't need to necessarily throw anybody under the bus and act like they're not tough enough to handle it. In a lot of cases, kids are just looking to try something new and aren't, it just doesn't take for whatever reason.
Sure.
But I do think overall numbers are down across the board in all level of sport at all ages. At the youth level through the high school level, and largely because sport is hard. It's a huge commitment. It's a ton of time, energy, and effort, and there's no guarantee for the reward. I mean, everybody's always hoping for the reward, which involves that scoreboard being in your favor at the end of the competition and all the other good things that can come with winning. But there's going to be a loser, and there's no guarantee you're going to be that winner. And I think for a lot of people, balancing the risk versus the reward, they just are choosing not to do sport. And
Sure.
whether that's right, wrong, or otherwise, but that's just the situation. Well, we hope it's rewarding,
Yes.
even in all the time. And to be honest, because we think the values and the lessons that you're learning, regardless of how things might turn out on the scoreboard, are going to be valuable enough that it's going to help you as an adult. And so, obviously, it's a big reason why I do what I do for a living, because I think it's that important. So, we will go to commercial break, and we'll talk more things about AHS athletics when we come back. Welcome back to the Rube Report. I would like to remind everyone to please support the Northwest Lending Group, Joe's Mobile, as well as our other YouTube and broadcast sponsors that include P&L Johnson, Van Dusen Beverages, the Ohana Media Group, Astoria Ford, Pacific Power, PNC Construction, and Clatsop Distributing. On some scheduling notes, the boys and girls golf teams are in action today. We have one of our groups is at the Meriwether Golf Course, which is Valley Catholic's home course. That's our boys team, and our girls team is at Quail Valley, which is the home of the Banks Braves and the Scappoose Indians. Scappoose also uses Quail Valley, which is located in Banks. So our golf teams are getting ready to tee off as we speak. And we are scheduled to be leaving for Scappoose for softball very quickly. And at the time of our show right now, we're not exactly sure if that's going to happen. That is most likely. I can't guarantee it at this time, but I am guessing we're going to get pushed back to about Saturday on that, just because if the forecast is correct and all things.
It's kind of good for me, because Rifle's been sick.
Oh, that would be real good. So Rifle, we were talking about AHS softball before the break. Rifle is Mr. Gouge's niece, who is our starting senior catcher, Caitlin Huffam. And she's having a solid year. She's enjoying it, providing good leadership. Life is pretty good.
She's got that crud that's going around like strep throat or something like that. So,
well, and our
the lockdown.
Yeah, and we were talking about numbers before the break. The softball team, when healthy, we have 11 healthy bodies. We had our freshman the Haligzo girl. She took a ball
Oh, that's
off the
right.
eye, which was really bad.
It was
Actually
really
had some.
bad. She's tough.
He's a really tough kid, but actually had like around the eye socket some fracturing and just a mess. Tough kid.
Yeah.
And hopefully she will be back sooner than later, but she's still out right now, and so it becomes a numbers thing.
Yeah.
You can't afford anybody to be sick or hurt when you're already limited in your numbers.
Heck yeah. Don't they play 10? No, they're 9. That's how we used to be in the football, middle school football, Ironman football.
Yeah.
How many kids you got? We need 11. No one get hurt. No one get hurt. I have to put my uniform on, come out there like the Rock, a chubby Rock. That's Ironman football, Ironman softball, Iron Lady softball.
Yep.
We don't need the center fielder. Our guys are so fast they can cover both fields.
Interestingly, by rule, I believe you have to start the game with 9, but you could finish a game with 8 if you had to.
Yeah, that'd make it tough.
It would make it tough. So, hopefully we'll keep all the girls healthy and keep fighting the good fight through the spring. The boys and girls track team is the varsity group is not in action until Saturday. They'll be at St. Helens for the Lower Columbia Invitational, which is always a great meet. A lot of good competition. I would like to give some props to Seaside High School. They did a great job hosting the Daily Astorian last weekend, which is also a varsity meet. I think we had around 300 student athletes there competing, and all their coaches and volunteers just did a tremendous job hosting a really nice event with some real interesting weather last Saturday as well. And so we had some good marks fighting through all that stuff. Our boys team is doing surprisingly well, really seeing some marked improvement from our boys. The girls, I know everybody has a high expectation of, as they are the 2-time defending state champs on the girls' side. And we're fighting through some injuries and kind of some of the same things like you talked about with your niece, some of the just some of the crud going around. And but the girls are doing a good job fighting through that and fighting through the high expectation of having to perform well. And we're hoping this Saturday the weather will cooperate and we'll see some great marks from our girls. There is a JV track meet this afternoon at Scappoose, so we'll get to see some of our younger and less experienced track kids, see what they can do with some marks at Scappoose this afternoon. So things are, going full bore, weather permitting or not. So we're finding a way to keep plugging along.
Yeah, they don't stop in track, do they?
Thunder, lightning.
Lightning's about it.
Yeah, and they're possibly calling for a little of that over towards Scappoose this afternoon. So that might slow them down a little bit. But other than that,
I didn't think about that. That's tough for those girls that 2-time state champ and to come back, and it's big. It's a big deal.
Well, it is. I think, and a couple of the girls are, Natalie Cummings just recently accepted a full ride scholarship to compete in track at Portland State University. Darian Hageman, one of our juniors, cannot be officially offered yet, but is drawing a lot of interest from Pac-12 schools. I think
she's superhuman.
Well, she's been super banged up herself, and so her marks have been a little frustrating so far this spring for her, and I just feel for these kids because they are feeling, I think, some of the pressure that like they have to have these amazing marks and be superhuman, to use your term, and it's really not fair to them. And so,
no, because before when they were doing, they're just out there having fun.
Well, yeah, it was just this is
like,
what I do.
It's personal best. It just happens to be a state record too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, excellent.
Exactly. You just hit it exactly on the head. And now that they're upperclassmen and accepting scholarships or maybe hoping to get offered a scholarship and all those things, and just the pressure of being a 2-time champion, it's weighing on them a little bit. I mean, you can see that, and it's unfortunate that they have to go through this. But again, as we were talking about before the break, some of the reason why you want to do this stuff is to have these experiences to help you as an adult when things like this come up and you're feeling different pressure for different reasons. And this is all part of their education right now. And, certainly we're going to help them get through it. And in a lot of ways, you could argue it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is definitely a good problem to have.
And but we do want the kids to be able to, like you were saying at the beginning, just to have fun, go out, enjoy what they're doing, and feel relaxed about it, and away we go. And certainly we're trying to help them find that balance and find that. So it's been interesting.
Well, they'll be back for a third. This is where it starts. The media guys. I'm a media guy.
Yeah, look at you being a media guy.
Being a media guy. You don't like all the media guys talking about the media guys? It's you, Colin Cowherd. You're the one that's talking about the stuff. I mean, like, well, you know what the media says. You are the media.
Oh, you crack me up.
Well, I crack myself up.
Well, we're running out of time. We got a little dose of HS athletics this week. That was good. We talked about the United flight, which had nothing to do with anything, which is normal for this show. All right, we're good?
We're good.
All right, everybody enjoy your weekend, and thanks for listening.
This show is also now available on our YouTube podcast archive. You'll find it at Ohana Media Group Coaches Shows on YouTube. Please like and subscribe.
This has been the Rube Report, a weekly look at Astoria High School fishermen sports with Athletic Director Howard Rube. The Rube Report is brought to you by Northwest Lending Group. Tune in next Thursday at 12:30 p.m. for the latest Astoria High School sports headlines on Cast 1370. News and talk for the coast.